Squire of Hell. By Troy Maverick. Chapter 31. A new day, a new outlook. Last night, I didn't get to spend much time with Onessa. The Lithenians in her teleporting castle had snatched all of her time, showering her with gifts upon her return, and pampering her blood squire as well. I'd proudly spent last night in the hot springs with over a dozen women catering to me in their own special ways. But this morning, I expected to see her in a few minutes in her throne room. So when the sun's rays rolled over my eyes, I woke up in anticipation. When I woke up, I expected two monster girls sleeping in my bed. From last night's adventures, I wanted to retire with only my mates, Malais to my left and Amara to my right. They were still fast asleep under my covers, and I didn't want to wake them. I sat up as slowly as possible, until I felt something wet on my feet. To be more specific, I had a suction going on around my big toe. When I pulled my foot away, I saw a lump underneath the sheets, then my ears caught onto some light snoring. So, a mystery girl did crawl into my bedroom last night, using my toe as a pacifier. Okay. That's new. Not a dull moment in Estiba, that was for sure. As for Faye, she knocked out about the same time I did last night, cuddled up with Pochi. Considering how long Onessa had been gone, I was surprised that Pochi didn't run back to his real mother. Instead, he was attached to Faye, his surrogate mom, the few days they'd been together solidifying their relationship. Honestly, I was happy for them both, especially Faye, who found a pet that would help her with this transition from Ebonmere to Rello Hell. And by the looks of it, we were going to be here for a while. After I washed up, I checked my stats. From the fight with Gez, I had gotten a few points even though I hadn't delivered the final blow. When I tallied that up with the points I got from killing Rodon, I leveled up, and allocated my bonus points. Rello stats. Name, Knives Arlean. Race, Human. Class, Fighter Kill System. Rank, Warrior. Level, 37, Experience, 2,333 37,000. Points to be allocated, 0. Brawn, 114. Agility, 85. Charisma, 20. Willpower, 43. Special skills. Single Bullet Berserker. Riot/Attack. 1,400 Nudas. 5 packs of 2012 gauge bullets. 6 snack bars. 1 mana restoration vials. Eve's Remorsa cuffs. Mana, 100. I planned on keeping the cuffs unless someone told me otherwise. I figured they'd be useful once my party and I started back up again. But for now, a mini vacation. We deserved it. When I walked over to my wardrobe closet, I noticed that Rhea stayed true to her promise. She tailored me a nice collection of clothes, the dragon girl somehow understanding my taste. I loved dark clothes, and hated anything flashy. I slipped on a pair of black trousers and a simple gray long-sleeve top before leaving my bedroom for the kitchen. Once I made it down the stairs, the aroma became too much to handle. I paced down the spiral stairway and into the foyer, but to my surprise, the smell of delicious pastries wasn't coming from the kitchen. I walked over to the library room, the space covered in wall-to-wall bookshelves. And on the square desk along the corner, there was a light breakfast buffet. I planned on indulging myself alone, until the sound of soft footsteps forced me to pivot toward the open door.
They say a way to a man's heart is through his stomach,
Onessa said lightheartedly, the sight of her making me drop the croissant from my lips.
but I'd say I'd already captivated your heart, hadn't I, Knives?
The reaction seemed childish before her presence, but she'd caught me off guard. Contradictory to how I'd left her last night, she was a radiating walking ball of sunshine. Her black hair was glossy and feathery, gracefully falling over her slender shoulders. And that long curve-hugging dress, a breathtaking sun-kissed gold to complement her shimmering sapphire blue eyes. Despite knowing that, you still insisted to bait me out with food, I teased her, and she giggled.
I made the spread myself, just for you,
she said in her angelic voice, closing the double doors behind us.
How would you rate my cooking?
Heh. So much for May whipping me up a meal when we got back to the castle. Onessa beat her to the punch. I haven't tried it yet. Mind joining me for breakfast?
I'd love to.
We sat and shared each other's company, and I noticed she couldn't keep her eyes off of me. Always observing, from head to toe. Strangely enough, it didn't feel awkward, because I was gawking at her too as she fixed up my plate.
You're truly handsome, Knives,
she finally said, and I responded with a charismatic grin.
Malais and Amara told me they have made you their Sarian. How about the priestess mage? Do you not wish to court her?
Faye. She settled the plate filled with food in front of me.
Yes. The sweet blonde human girl.
I paused. I wasn't sure how to answer that, until she chuckled behind her hand.
I understand.
Do you, really?
In due time, I suppose.
She reached over and stroked the back of my hand, The same one that had her crest on it.
You two would make beautiful children.
I choked.
Knives Arlean of Earth, I want to thank you again for rescuing me. Words cannot express my sincerest gratitude. You will join me in my chamber tonight.
Was that an order? Well, it sounded like words couldn't express her gratitude, but something else could.
I'm glad that you acquired a healer in your party, my dearest Squire. I already know that she has been useful to you thus far. It was by chance that you entered the portal with Lady Belmauer, and it was fate that she was pure of heart.
Speaking of her soul, not her attitude. She laughed.
Your party is truly unique. Still, I understand the journey so far hasn't been easy for you.
Truth be told, I wasn't expecting it to be.
Yes, the court brought me up to speed, including melees. But I tell you, the battles you have endured are nothing to those you will encounter in the future.
I snorted. Are you saying this so I could reconsider something here? She looked at me with heavy concern in her eyes.
I'd understand if you decided to retire at this point. You've already gone beyond my expectations. That isn't to say that I didn't have faith in you, my dearest, but I do consider you as a person, with your own choices and your own motives. I know almost everything about you, and I also know what you are to these people back in Ebenmere. I can relate, Knives. Rest assured, I am back where I belong, and if you do not wish to shed any more blood for me, I completely understand.
Well, if you'd already talked to the court, then Lady Lucille should have told you about my contract.
I am well aware. I have also been informed about your request to revert back to my father's pact, of which I am already considering. Knowing this, I am still offering you a way out, despite the terms.
You mean opening a portal back home before you take the throne?
Yes.
Onessa, I wouldn't even consider it, I rejected, looking at her sternly. I made Lithinia a promise. Getting you back was just the first step. Now we can plan together. I won't leave your side, not until we crush all of your enemies and ensure control over Relohel. She blushed, looking back at me lovingly.
Such passion.
Onessa took my face into her hand and gave me a tender kiss.
You have so much care and love in your heart, it almost feels surreal. After everything you've been through, both on Earth and in Relo, you stand to protect and serve. This is truly honorable, Knives.
She reeled back into her seat and poured us both red wine.
If you truly wish to continue to fight this war with us, I am eager to know if you want to stay.
You mean, becoming a permanent resident of Relohel?
I know I'd be asking for too much, but I have plans for my blood Squire.
Meaning?
What have my girls taught you about your kill system?
Besides the quick leveling and sleeping around to get special skills. She gave me a mischievous look.
Of which you only have 2.
I snickered. I was on a time constraint. Fooling around didn't factor into the equation.
There's more to it than that. My father had a crypt of secrets he kept for himself. When someone in the royal family died, he'd bury them under his castle, along with their secrets. As for his children of sin, we weren't allowed to learn what our elders did. But when my father realized that greed and pride were snooping around his crypt, he scattered his secrets among Relohel. It was how greed learned how to tear portals into Earth. The spell was one of Father's secrets, and he found it. Another secret was the kill system, where Father had originally saved it for me. Where I can then appoint it however I liked. He understood that there was a prophecy of my nation falling, and he wanted to give me an edge. Rumors of my blood Squire getting this gift spread, as well as the idea that he will take over Lithinia. But demons don't know much about my plans, nor do they know of the kill system's true potential. Only I do.
And what potential is that?
The potential to be a god.
I froze. You're gonna have to run that by me one more time.
The kill system is an alternate route of godly right. I am not sure if anyone mentioned level capping to you. Every rank has a level cap, which is universal throughout Relohel. It ranges from 50 to 200. But sin gods don't have any limitations. The same way that our Father doesn't. Though unlike our Father, we aren't invulnerable. While we draw power from Earth's sin, we can still be killed. To compensate for our lack of infinite immortality, we have level reserves. Which means upon the brink of death, we can slash our levels down to, in a sense, rise from the dead.
If you do that so many times, wouldn't you get too weak to revive?
Precisely. But with your kill system, you not only gain levels faster, you are also uncapped.
Onessa, if that's the case, then why did you give me this gift? Why didn't you keep it for yourself?
I am not fit to guide my nation alone,
she said simply. You've done so for so many years.
Try centuries. Regardless, I understand my nation's faults and flaws, and we've been suffering for it. I chose my blood squire in hopes that he will become the next king of hell. With me, his queen. Together, we can reshape a better future for our people.
She was putting a lot on me. For some reason, she had a lot of faith in me being successful. What was she seeing in me that I wasn't? I was fully aware that I was strong, but I still had no idea what awaited me out there. Unlike Onessa, who knew Relo hell inside and out. Enough to say that I could be a god. Not to mention, the next king of hell. Well, Relo hell. How much did she really know about me? Staying here full term is something to consider.
If you refuse, I completely understand.
Is the crest something you can transfer?
No, and I am perfectly content with letting you have it.
We are talking about saving your nation here.
And you ending this war with us is saving our nation. It would be selfish of me to expect more from you.
If I decide to stay, there is something I need to do back home first. I promised a friend.
Of course. There is no pressure, blood squire. This decision is yours alone to make. Please, take all the time that you need to decide. I support your choice either way.
A god though. I can't lie, this goes beyond what I was expecting from that portal jump with Faye.
You weren't expecting much of anything though, were you?
I smiled. Yeah, you're right.
Please, keep this information between the both of us. My father kept this a secret for a reason.
Sounds like some demons already know about the kill system.
Which goes to show you that you can't trust everyone. Luckily, they don't know the crucial aspect of it. The one that could get you a bounty on your head.
Your secret is safe with me.
Good. Now that we've discussed your system, let's talk about other pressing matters. Dara, what do you suppose we do with her?
My eyes grew. Why was she asking me?
Should we kill her, force her to serve, or use her as bait for my brother in the future?
Onessa, I am in no position to.
Yes, you are, Knives. You are my blood squire.
She smiled.
You have the same authority as I do around here. So, you better get used to it.
Hey, I am honored, really, but Dara. She is your war prisoner. Only you and your people truly know the damages she'd caused to your nation.
So, we let the people decide?
Does the entire court know we have her in our custody?
Most do. I suspect all by now. How about I have you talk to her first? Privately. Don't worry, you'll be safe. I will have her mana-bound, with the same contraption that vile brother of mine used on me. You still have it, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
It is yours to keep.
Onessa, speaking of Curran.
You know, there are some things not worth speaking of,
She said solemnly, taking the glass to her lips.
Sometimes hearing his name makes me relive my torment in his chamber. I know it weakens me, but I just need time to recover. I wish that I could burn the images of that dungeon out of my mind, but I can't. I have to live with it, and eventually, create a barrier in my head so I can deal with it.
I'm sorry, Onessa. I wish you would have called me sooner. You've been down there for weeks. She looked up to me with watery eyes, flashing me a wholesome smile.
It is not your fault, my love. I know that you will make him pay in blood, when the time comes.
I will. As well as every sin god who has plagued Lithuania. You can mark my words. As for Dara, I've already spoken to her, but she didn't tell me much. Against what the entire court believes, I feel like she wants to help. And I'll find out how she can help us take down greed.